Hello, good evening. This is Courtney Rice, WWT's PR and Media Princess. And as you know, this is All Elite Wednesday. Had a little bit of a snafu with technical issues, but we are ready to go. It is the week before Grand Slam. So this is really exciting and it's coming to you live from Works Bar, Pennsylvania. And we just kicking off with our opening contest. Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. And of course, Orange Cassidy is being accompanied by members of the conglomeration, Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly. And also, of course, Chris Jericho has the learning tree, the Redwood and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. So this should be an interesting matchup. And if you saw some of the stuff that happened earlier before the match, this is not the first time Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy faced each other. They have faced off each other 4 years ago, where unfortunately Orange Cassidy ruined Chris Jericho's suit with the splash of orange juice. So that was really exciting. And also, I remember when everybody was staying indoors during the pandemic, they did a debate. So that was also really interesting too. And also seeing that debate, and I actually watched it a couple weeks ago recently, and it was great. So this is the opening context. Orange Cassidy, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho covered out after Orange was doing a quick count. So this is really exciting, and it's a week before Grand Slam. And also, if you missed it earlier before that, John Moxley and Marina Shafir came into the building along with Darby Allin. So that is going to be fun as well. So this is really shaping up to be a good solid show right before Grand Slam comes back to New York. And looking at this opening contest, Chris Jericho's putting on the walls of Jericho, and is Orange Cassidy gonna tap right here? Is You can say whatever you want about Orange Cassidy, but he is one hell of a performer. And I've seen some of his matches too. If you've never ever seen a match by Orange Cassidy, definitely check out his matches, especially when he was international champion, because he put on some really good matches. And also a little known fact, he's from my home state of New Jersey. So that's why I always I have a huge soft spot for Orange Cassidy, and he is a really good performer. And of course, Chris Jericho, who, if you did not know, he's one of my favorite wrestlers growing up since I started wrestling at 12. He's done it all. He's one of the absolute respected and respected and gracious men that ever walked the center foot of the ring, and he's wrestled everywhere from Canada to Mexico to Japan. I Bosa, a match over $1,000 jacket. This is almost comedic. Yeah, it is true. You'd be very surprised if you watched it back in 2020. I can't believe Jericho holds a grudge after all these years, owing $7,000. But Orange did pay him back last week in coins and what he does best. So this is actually a nice opening contest. So Orange Cassidy throwing some punches back to Chris Jericho, getting the crowd going. Oh, and Orange Cassidy fell outside of the apron. Chris, look, I don't care if he has the crappiest gimmick in the world. Chris Jericho can still go. He can have the most worst gimmick, but about him, he just makes it work. I don't know how he does it, but he just really does it. So outside of the barricade, Orange Cassidy looks like he's hurting from one of his arms. And Chris Jericho, he's just walking in stride. Taunting the cameraman. Oh, he has the camera. What's he gonna do with the camera? He's trying to humiliate Orange Cassidy while being on the camera. Okay, Chris Jericho on the top rope. Of course, he's doing his signature hi guys. I don't know why, but I always get a kick of when he says hi guys. It just finds it so humorous. And now the fans are starting to do it, which is just just great. Orange Cassidy looks like he's a little helpless, and Chris Jericho is taunting him, slapping him in the face. Orange fighting back. Now this is where I like to see more is the serious Orange Cassidy because I feel like when he has that mean old look in his face and he's serious, he's ready to go. Oh, Lion Salt, Chris Jericho. 1, 2, kick out by Orange Cassidy. This is actually turning out to be a really good, solid match. And just to let you know, Wednesday nights is AE All Elite Wednesday. Every Wednesday it's Dynamite. Hi, Bobby. Thank you for joining on tonight's watch along. This is going to be an exciting show. And if you're just tuning in, the kickoff match is Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. And this is actually a really solid match. And okay, Chris Jericho kicked out. Orange Cassidy seems a little bit irate, but he needs to keep his cool. He needs to keep his cool if he wants to win the match. Got to keep his cool. And Orange Cassidy's going out the top rope. I hope you're having yes, Bobby. It has been a good Wednesday. Thank you for joining, and thank you for joining me on tonight's watch along as well. Chris Jericho. Ooh, Chris Jericho took a nasty landing. And is Orange gonna do it? Is he gonna do one of his signature moves? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, and Jericho caught Orange Cassidy. Hit him on the barricade on that bad arm. Saw that Ricochet is in action today. He drew Ring of Honor to be. Yeah, it's gonna be a difficult test as it was announced earlier. Ricochet is going against the Beast Morto, so that's gonna be an interesting contest, especially considering last week he attacked him after his match against Sammy Guevara. So this is gonna be a very interesting, and I know they're gonna really tear the house down. And I actually do like the Beast Mortos. He's showing a lot of agility and especially some of the matches he had between Collision and Dynamite. So it's nice that he's getting a lot of TV exposure. And back to the match. Oh, they're both on this, and oh, they both landed on the table. Cassidy and Jericho. Referees and doctors are checking in to see if they're okay. They're, they're trying to check to see if they're still moving and breathing. So, oh, now it's in picture. Great. That's the one thing. That's the one thing I can't stand about picture in picture because they always show the commercial and that takes away from the wrestling match. If they would have went straight to commercial, that would have been fine. But during the picture in picture, they're showing the replay again. And I will say this is a solid match, especially considering they reignited a rivalry that happened 4 years ago. And also, I kind of like to see them take this a little bit further. This would be very interesting if they take it a little bit further. And I wouldn't mind if they have a match at Wrestle Dream, which is a couple weeks away. I don't know. Time will tell. Oh, awesome, Bobby, that you're watching AEW. And yeah, I agree. This has been a really solid match by these two. And if you ever saw the last match they had, it was the two of them, and they were in a mimosa street fight. If you have not watched that match, definitely watch it. It's on their YouTube channel. So that was I haven't watched that match, but I've seen bits of it, and it was a good solid match. Especially if what are you gonna do with mimosa? I don't know, but what if they do Orange Cassidy versus Bill Ness, Big Bill next? I would not be surprised if they had a match. And also, I mean, I feel like with the match they're having now, I wouldn't be shocked if it did and ended in shenanigans with like Big Bill and the Bad Apple coming in to beat up on Orange Cassidy, I would not be shocked on that. It could happen. The only time will tell. I would not be shocked if it did happen during possibly Grand Slam, but only time will tell. And that would actually be an interesting match. I mean, I would not be shocked if it was Orange Cassidy versus Big Bill or any one of the members of the conglomeration taking on either him or Brian Keith. So that is interesting to watch. So I'm looking at the picture in picture, and both of them seem laid out. One does not want to cave. One does not want to cave in, but they really are giving an epic match. And we're back live on Dynamite. Both of them are at the edge of their feet, trying to give punches to each other. I will say, for Chris Jericho, I don't care how old he is, that man can still go. He can still go, and it wouldn't even matter. He can go. If Mercedes Moné does a match on AEW Grand Slam, who should be her opponent for the TBS Championship? Um, that's actually a good question because we haven't seen Mercedes. We haven't seen it in a while, especially after the match he had with Hikaru Shida. Um, it's very hard to say what match to put her in because I'm trying to think on who the roster that she could wrestle. I mean, it would be interesting to have her. Well, my first choice was Willow, but I know she still has her feud with Chris Statlander, so that's out because she still did not get her rematch. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing her develop the rivalry with her and her Shida because I feel like they had a little bit of better chemistry after seeing the match they had it all out. It's just there. It just kind of needs to be. Um, I would not be shocked. We haven't seen Julia Hart in a while, so that could be another one. And also, if you've seen the promo, Anna Jay is coming back to AEW, but I really want her to slowly start cooking, especially after coming back. What if she did an open challenge? I mean, she could. I don't think the one thing about her I could say she never backs down from a fight. So I don't know. But I would not be shocked if she put a stipulation in saying if you beat the brick house, then you have to go through her. So I feel like there's some kind of wiggle room she has to do to get in there. But I I don't think she's the kind of person to back down, but only time will tell. And hopefully she's on the show later. But I wouldn't be surprised if she did put an open challenge, especially since Grand Slam's in New York next week. That would be interesting to see. Interesting. Yeah, the match is still going on. Look, these guys are really putting on a solid match in the opening bell. And they're both on the top rope. Oh, Orange Cassidy on the top rope. Ooh, crossbody. Doing that. Classic Orange Cassidy. Wait, no. Chris Jericho trying to put the walls of Jericho in. And he did. Is Orange Cassidy gonna tap? I know I love Chris, but I really want Orange Cassidy to win. I really want him to win. And he's not gonna quit. He's showing resilience. Come on, Orange. Get to the bottom rope. Maybe Mercedes Renee versus. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a few ladies from Ring of Honor. I wouldn't mind seeing a few ladies from Ring of Honor challenger. Oh, here we go. Here's the Redwood. All right. Oh, I thought the match was over, but it's not. Orange Cassidy kicked out. Oh, and he's still going. Oh, and look at the redwood. He's just taking everybody out from the conglomeration. He's taking out everybody. Oh boy, I would not be shocked. Oh wait, quit. Oh, all right. Hey, Deshaun 86. My name is Brandon. Who is your favorite wrestler? Well, I have a few favorite wrestlers. I mean, of course, on the top of my list is the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Chris Jericho, as I mentioned, he's on the top of my list. That whole era of the women's division, that golden era with Trish, Lita, Jacqueline, Victoria, Molly, and Jazz. Those ladies have definitely been super great. Mick Foley is another wrestler that I love. Finn Balor. And on the AEW side, I mean, I gotta go with Orange Cassidy. He's one of my favorites. Orange is one of my favorites. Darby Allin's starting to grow on me. Tony Storm, she's the reason why I got into AEW because I actually met her at a meet and greet. And I shared the story probably a few times, but I met her at a meet and greet in March of 2022. And this is when she was released from WWE. And at that time, I was there and nobody was at her table. So I went over to her table, I got her autograph and I got a photo, and I told her that, whatever happened there is going to be fine. I gave her a hug and I thought at least like she would go on to better things. A few days later, she appeared on AEW. So I got to give kudos to Tony Storm as to why I watch AEW. So kudos to her. I also got to meet Mariah May too, and even though like she called herself a glamour, she was a sweetheart when I met her. I love, 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 love Mariah May. Also, I gotta put the Acclaimed up there only because Anthony Bowens is from my home state. I probably mentioned this a few times. He's from my home state, and of course, I have to have a soft spot for Max Caster because I know a lot of people kind of dog on him, especially on Twitter, but I'll tell you throughout the program, throughout the whole watch along as to why, because I feel like sometimes he doesn't get a break. But anyways, those are a few of my favorite wrestlers. Hi, Hassan. Welcome to the show. Oh, nice. You got your new magazine and comic book. Nice. All right. Who would you book as next challenge for Jack Perry's TNT Championship of Wrestle Dream? Ooh, that's a good one. But during the match, of course, we see the Bad Apple come in and Mark Briscoe fighting at it. And it looks like Chris Jericho has something in his hand. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it. I don't even know what it is. Oh, Orange Punch. 1, 2, 3. Orange Cassidy is the victor. He won the match. Go. I mean, I love Chris Jericho, but hey, go Orange. Always a tweet whenever Orange Cassidy wins. Bobby, going back to your point, the person who I want to face Jack Perry, because there's a lot of interesting people. Actually, I'm going to rephrase it. I actually want to say, instead of saying next challenger, I want to see who's going to be the next opponent that'll put a rivalry with him. I would love for him to have a rivalry with Lio Rush because their match that they had last week was incredible. And I know there's like a few spats in there, but I would love to see him have a rivalry with Lio Rush and somewhere down the line. That would be a really good rivalry to have. And I think they could deliver a really good solid match at Wrestle Dream. But that's who I pick. But feel free to put in the chat on who you want to see. Jack Perry, who should be the next person to challenge for Jack Perry for his TNT championship. And also, if you're here and so just to catch you up to speed, we kicked off Dynamite with Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy, with Orange Cassidy coming in as the winner. And we are just hearing from two of the third trio champions, Claudio Casanova and Pac. And it looks like they called out Wheeler Yuta, which is really weird because this is gonna be interesting. I like to see Powerhouse Hobbs. Yeah, he should be returning soon. That would be really good. I do see a return for him soon. I don't want to say he's that close, but I know he's rehabbing. Blackpool's man. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I know if you saw Collision, really Yuta's face just was completely drained after what happened with All Out. So it's gonna be interesting to see with the trios division and next it's gonna be interesting on who's gonna be the first person to challenge them. So feel free to put in the comments on who do you think should challenge the trios champion. Like who do you think should be next in line? Because there's a lot of really good trios out there. Of course, there's House of Black. There is the Bang Bang Gang. There's a lot of good trios out there. Yeah, I think House of Black would be a good one, but only time will tell. Only time will tell regarding the trios title. But we'll see what happens, and if Wheeler Yuta responds next week, will the patriarchy demand their rematch with Davey having a contract? I don't think so because Christian wants one thing and one thing only, and that's the AEW championship. And we're seeing Wheeler Yuta. It's gonna be interesting. So Willie Yuta doing it for an interview. They're talking about his thoughts next week. Of course, Claudio and Pac call him out on it. So, and I know Billy Yuta's still in shock of what happened with Ryan Danielson, but like I said, only time will tell on who they're going to defend at Grand Slam next week. It could be House of Black, it could be Top Flight, it could be the Bang Bang Gang. Lots of really good trios out there. So, and just like that, Willie Yuta is staying in focus mode. And I know there's a conflict situation. And also, thank you guys for joining on All Elite Wednesday. This is Courtney Rice, your WWT's PR and media princess. And look who's at the commentator table. Nothing more than Roderick Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom with Matt Taven and Michael Bennett. And I think they're trying to spew on Taz because, of course, there's a match with Hook. So if you did not know, Hook is Taz's son, if you did not know. So that's why they try to start a fight with Taz. But yeah, Hook is in action. And just to let you know, next week at Grand Slam, it'll be Hook versus Roderick Strong for the FTW Championship. And I know people are like, ugh, Hook, like all that stuff, but I think they're going to have a really good match, him and Roderick. I feel like they really are going to commemorate with each other. Then, of course, you have to watch out for the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett. But I feel like with those two, they can really deliver, especially since it's going to be in New York. It's in Hook's backyard. So that's also going to be interesting as well. So Hook and Hook. So Hook is facing off against JD Inc. and restroom break. Don't say it nobody because he's probably starting off. The one other thing I could say when it comes to AEW, and I know they also do Ring of Honor, I love that they showcase local wrestlers within their hometown or they're not close to that area because it does give them an opportunity to be on TV and also gives them opportunity not just on Dynamite, but also on Rampage and Collision as well. So it does give time for some of the local wrestlers, especially if we do not know who they are. It's nice to have a little bit of background on them. So little kudos on that. So let's see. Hook. Ooh, suplex. I'm glad to see indie wrestlers getting an opportunity on AEW. Agreed. 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 It's always a nice opportunity to see some wrestlers, especially on independence, because that is definitely a really great opportunity. And and he tapped out. So Hook won. And look at Roderick Strong. He's trying to intimidate. Boza, it's all good. You're not being rude. It's just, a lot of people have their opinions, and that's okay. So Hook comes out as the victor right before his match next week at Grand Slam against Roderick Strong. And he's having a stare down. Let's see. Oh no, he's trying to intimidate Roderick. I think they're trying to talk trash with each other, but he's saving that for next week. Roderick Strong, you're going to be in a Hook's backyard of New York. So we'll see what happens there. Ooh. Ooh, it's always nice to see Private Party on TV. I love it. I love seeing them on TV. I know Quinn, he's had some injuries. I actually like some of the tag teams are getting their shine that's not related to tag team gold. And also, I will say, Private Party does not back down from a fight, and they are not slouches. Especially considering last week they did get attacked by Moxley and Marina Shafir. So I'm very happy that they are getting this opportunity, and they will be teaming up with Commander because it looks like they're a good trio. I'm excited to see them. It's always a treat seeing Private Party, especially in New York. It's like their backyard. I would love to see that happen. And everybody's going to be screaming shots all over. So I'm fully in on it. It's nice to see, some of the tag teams getting that opportunity, especially in the trios division, because I don't know if you guys know it. Trios division is starting to shape up really good. And I also want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on AEW All Elite Wednesday. This is Miss Courtney right here. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Boza and Bobby and Brandon and Hassan and Football Scouting Report for joining us on this evening viewing party. This is the final AEW Dynamite before Grand Slam next week, and it's starting to shape up to be a good event. If you missed it, we kicked off with Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho, and Orange Cassidy got off with the win. We also did see Claudio and Wheeler, Claudio and Pac call out Wheeler Yuta because they put out an open challenge next week for anybody to defend their trios titles. And Private Party steps up to the plate. So it's nice to see them step up because they are no slouches and they don't back down from a fight. We also got to see Hook in action. And of course, Roderick Strong was on commentary with the Undisputed Kingdom. And of course, they were trying to intimidate Taz because if you did not know, Hook is Taz's son. So of course they wanted to intimidate Taz. So he's like the last guy you don't want to mess with. So that's what it is so far. And we got a few more matches happening later on tonight. We have Queen Amanada and Yuka Shinigami. I forgot her last name. taking on Serena Deebs and the AEW Women's Champion Mariah May in tag team action. We, of course, got the Beast Mortos against Ricochet, and also our main event, the Elite, consisting of the tag team champions, the Young Bucks, and the Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada, taking on members of the Don Callis family, Tenosuke Takeshita, Will Ospreay, the International Champion, and Kyle Fletcher. The Kingdom get their rematch on Collision. Yes, they do. They do get their rematch this Saturday, and that is going to be awesome. And speaking of the patriarchy, here is Christian. I'm just waiting for Luchasaurus to finally turn on Christian Cage. What? Oh, Kip Saban. What's Kip Saban doing? It's really interesting because the rivalry with Kip Saban and Nick Wayne is really kind of, and I really want to see how this develops. Oh, and if you did not catch during the interview, Nick Wayne is actually going to be in action on Rampage in a fatal four-way match. So, and speaking of tag team, well, Christian's doing what he does best. He enjoys being a heel. That's what he loves to do. He's good at it. He's good at it really being a heel. But I'm trying to serve my memory. So Nick Wayne is going to compete in a fatal four-way match on Rampage where he's going up against Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, and I forget who the last person is, but he's going to be in action on Friday. But I'm also curious on how, and I would not be shocked if Kip Saban tried to screw him in that match on Rampage. And speaking of that, we are going to be featuring tag team action because this is women's wrestling talk and we advocate for all the ladies. So this is definitely a tag team match because we just saw Serena Deebs and we're seeing our glamorous AEW women's champion, Mariah May. I will say, she is definitely embracing being a heel champion. She's embracing it. Yuka Sakazaki. I will say, I've seen a few matches from her when on Collision and Rampage, and she's good. She may be tiny and she may have a little bit of a baby voice, but she can go in the ring. And of course, they're showing highlights from last week on Collision, last weekend. So this is how we got into the match. So they're showing what happened on Collision. We all four ladies. And next, you're going to see Queen Amanada. I am so happy to see her on Dynamite 2 weeks in a row. She's on Dynamite. I'm so happy that she's getting more exposure. And I definitely want her on TV. And I also definitely want to see her in a storyline with Mariah May. I know Mariah really wants Mina Shirokana, but I really want to see the rivalry between Queen Amanada and Mariah May. And here's her tag team partner, Yuka Sakazaki. Yeah, Sakazaki is her tag team partner. And she may be tiny and her voice may sound like a baby doll, but she can go. Yes, Bobby, I am so happy for Queen Amanada. I'm happy she's getting exposure on Dynamite. And like I said, I want to see a good storyline rivalry between her and Mariah May. I know she did lose her eliminator match, but I just want to see that storyline go because I feel like the two of them can develop something. And also considering Mariah May did hurt one of her good friends, Sky Blue. And one day, one day I would like to see a match between Mercedes Renee and Queen Amina. That would be a really good match. I would be all in to see that match. I would totally be in for that. That would be a really, really, really good rivalry. It would be really, really fun. But I'm excited. So we got some tag team action featuring some of the ladies on AEW. Yuka Sakazaki and Queen Amanada taking on the Professor, Serena Deeb, and Mariah May, your AEW Women's World Champion. So Yuka and Serena, they look like they're even a bit. They're not backing down from a fight. Thank you for joining the show. We are happy to have you here. This is All Elite Wednesday with Courtney Rice. I am your WWT's PR and Media Princess, and it's All Elite Wednesday. And if you haven't missed it, this is the final Dynamite before Grand Slam in New York next week. And if you're catching right now, we are watching tag team action with four of the top females of AEW. We have our women's champion Mariah May and Serena Deebs against Queen Amanada and Yuka Sakazaki. And Queen Amanada, she's showing some offense. She is not messing around. Ooh, that had to hurt. That had to really, really hurt. That leg. Ooh, that had to hurt. And Mariah May makes the tag. Let's see. Let's see our women's champion. Ooh, drop kick. Ooh, she took out Yuka. And she's mimicking Yuka. I mean, that's what you do as a heel. Ooh, she delivered a sucker punch. And of course, it's going to go to picture in picture and commercials. But the match is still continuing on in picture. And I am happy to see the ladies. Of course, Mariah May Storm is confident now. Tony Monroe will be in Japan on October 5th. Oh, nice. Good to know. Kip Sabian. That's it. Okay. So thank you, Bobby, for pointing that out because, as I mentioned earlier, on Rampage this Friday, Nick Wayne will be in a four-way match with Leo Rush, Rocky Romero, and Kip Sabian. So that match is going to be fun. Yes. Moxley is going to be on next. They did mention John Moxley a bit. So we're curious to hear what he has to say because him and Darby Allin have a match next week. And Darby Allin's putting his title shot on the line. So whoever wins faces off against the AEW World Champion, Bryan Danielson. What if Fatal 4-Way match is number one contender? You know, Bobby, that's a good question because they did not mention that it was going to be a number one contender, but whoever wins that match will get to have momentum going towards the TNT Championship belt. And for me, if I had to pick a winner out of all those four, I would pick Leo Rush because I feel like he's at that momentum because his match versus Jack Perry, I feel like they both had it well, and I think that could be a solid rivalry for them going further. So if he wins that fatal four-way matchup, that could really carry his momentum going and possibly get another shot at the TNT Championship. So we shall see what happens on Rampage, but tonight it's all about AEW Dynamite tonight, and we have a good solid tag team match with four of the top ladies of AEW. And I'm looking at the picture in picture where Serena Deebs is like playing some mind games with Queen Amanada. She's trying to taunt her, but I will say Queen Amanada is not backing down, and that's what I love about her. She doesn't take no crap from anybody. Ooh, she threw a right punch on Serena Deebs. So we're back live. Ooh, they're just throwing punches at each other. Ooh, counter. Tagging in Yuka. She tagged in Queen Amanada, tagged in Yuka. Yuka's going on the top rope. Drop kick. And here comes Mariah May. Hurricanrana by Yuka. She's Yuka. She may be small, but she's quick and she's not a woman. I feel like all the women that are in Stardom or New Japan Wrestling, they are ones that should not be messed with because they can be dangerous. Those are the ones that you don't want to mess with in the ring. Two, and Serena kicked out. I'm really happy they are giving some women who are so used to wrestling on not just Rampage but Collision. They're giving them TV time on Dynamite. And German suplex to Mariah May by Queen Amanada. Serena Deeb delivers the German suplex. And then Yuka. What move is this? Hammerlock. Ooh, Serena Deeb took a nasty, nasty bump. I think Max is working both sides of the fence. I don't know. I mean, it does seem a little bit early to tell because, and also considering with Moxley, when he had a confrontation with the Elite and Jack Perry, he actually has a soft spot for Jack Perry because he says, I don't care what anybody says, I like you. So I feel like if he does work with the Elite, that's going to be really interesting to say because I keep thinking in my head, like, what top baby faces do you have? Of course, you have Bryan Danielson as the AEW World Champion. You have Will Ospreay. You have the entire conglomeration of Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy. What? Oh, hold on, wait a minute. It looks like this match ended in no disqualification. The belt. It looks like Mariah May hit Yuka with the belt and ended disqualification, which kind of really sucked because it was a really good, solid match. And she's hitting Yuka with the belt. You think we're gonna see Mina Shirakawa? Because she's been asking her for weeks. Well, I know Toni Storm right now. I know she was doing a media tour for Australia. Oh, let's hear what Mina has to say. Let's see what she has to say. Well, Mina Shirokata, even though she is appalled by Mariah May's action, she is coming to Dynamite. She is coming to AEW to celebrate Mariah May's victory, and the fans do want Mina. And I will say, I have started to grow on Mina Shirokata because she's a tough little cookie. She's beautiful, and also a little fact: before she was in wrestling, she started at modeling, which I was like, wow, no wonder she's so charismatic that she started in modeling. Feels like me and Mariah is being built for Wrestle Dream. Yeah, I can see it happening for Wrestle Dream. I mean, Wrestle Dream is a couple weeks away, so that's going to be a fun one. Also, I'm just going to throw it out there because if they do have a match at Wrestle Dream, I would not be shocked to see the return of Tony Storm coming in. So that's just wishful thinking. I can tell if I didn't know Mina was a model, so now she's using. Yep, because she mentioned this in one of her interviews that she started off as modeling before she got into wrestling. So I could tell where she gets her charismatic from. And if you missed it before the break, we're gonna hear from Mr. John Moxley, and is he is dead set on taking away Darby Allin's shot next week at Grand Slam. Also, I would not be shocked if he had not just Marina Shafir, but also Claudia and Pac joining in as well. So I'm very curious on what John has to say. And honestly, earlier, I would not be shocked if he is working with the Elite because, as I mentioned earlier, when he confronted Jack Perry, he actually likes Jack Perry. So I would not be surprised if it was under the radar a bit. So only time will tell. But I'm really excited. Thank you guys for having me again on All Elite Wednesday. I am very excited to join you guys. Very excited to join you guys here. So far, we have a really good, solid show from AEW Dynamite, the final Dynamite before Grand Slam next week in New York. So there's a pretty more action to come later on. Of course, John Moxley's going to come out. We have the Beast Mortos versus Ricochet. And then, of course, our main event, the Elite, consisting of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, and Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, taking on Will Ospreay, the AEW International Champion, Kazuchika, not Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. So there's a few more matches in action, and it's starting to be a good show. And Tony Storm's win IWGP Women's Champion Stardom from Maya Michigan. That was a possibility. Yes, and they're also some of the broadcast team for Dynamite. They are talking about next week that Nigel McGuinness made, because if you saw Dynamite last week, he put out a challenge to Bryan Danielson. And if Bryan is clear to wrestle next week, then they will go one-on-one. And if you did not know the history between them, this goes way, way back to their Ring of Honor days. And if you watched Ring of Honor from way back in the day, their rivalry was super intense, super physical, all of them all over the place. And I can't even tell you, but it is a renewed rivalry in the process. And I know Nigel has been saying a lot of things. He's been name calling him, Brittle Brian, crying Brian, but we shall see what Bryan Danielson has to say. Oh, they were doing a promo of Nigel, but I guess they're having technical difficulties with Nigel. And also during this time, they're actually, as I mentioned, um, the commentary team, they're talking about the history between Danielson and Nigel. And here's the prologue. 2006 is where they started their rivalry at Ring of Honor. And it's nice to have some Ring of Honor alumni, like, of course, Mark Briscoe, Roger Strong, Jerry Lynn. It's nice that they have some people who wrestled in Ring of Honor and were able to witness their rivalry up close, sharing their own personal experiences. So it's really nice to see. But I will say it's nice to see Nigel back in the ring. He looks in great shape. Tony Khan is doing anything to justify this change for Grand Slam. Crazy that Darby's putting his role. Well, that is true, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of really hard because he dropped the title. I mean, Bryan Danielson beat Swerve for the title, and it's like, oh, this, but I really had Nigel on it because I was like, man, I really want to see that match. Well, speaking of Jon Moxley, he's actually coming out right now to the ring. Don't know where's he coming from at, but if you heard his music, he's coming out, and I'm curious what else he's gonna say. I know, I know. I wanted to see Darby and Bryan Danielson as well. Of course, Nigel too, but it would have been nice to see Darby and Bryan Danielson go. But let's see what they have to say. Of course, Jon Moxley, he's accompanied by Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. It's curious that he's where him and Marina are wearing all black. Ooh, nice fact. Yeah, Seth Rollins was in Ring of Honor, and that's awesome. He did face Bryan Danielson in both WWE and Ring of Honor. So that's an interesting trivia to know. What's going on here? What? What? Private Party attacking? Why did you attack them right when they were getting into the ring? You should have waited until in the ring. And Moxley didn't even flinch when Isaiah Cassidy tried to attack him. Well, Claudio, yes, but Claudio's just manhandling. I know. Now it's like, ugh, 2 on 3. That's not good. Ooh, goodness. Oof. I know. I know. Private. Yeah, Marina. And Marina's spirit just beat the crap out of Isaiah Cassidy. Yeah. Oof. I know. Like the numbers just got the best of them. Oof. But I would not be shocked if Darby Allin came out of Darby. I would not be shocked if he came out because wait, what are they doing? Oh, there's Commander. Commander, what's he doing out here? Oh, because part of the trios with oof lunch. I know. Ooh, Marina just took out. Ooh, they just took out all three. Whoa, 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 whoa! Is he really bringing out the toolbox? Is he really bringing out? What's he gonna do? I, I think they really. Geez, what the? Oh my God, John Pitt is there. He broke Isaiah Cassidy's hand. I thought at least Darby would come out. Oh, there he is. There he is. Get him, Darby. Come on, Darby. Come on, Darby. They love Darby Allin. I want to know where he got his pink jacket from. The one thing I can say about Darby Allin, he doesn't back down from a fight. John, well, yeah, that is true. I mean, they did step up to the challenge, which I give kudos to them. They took a lot of guts, but I'm curious because if they're out, what's going to happen? I actually would like to see House of Black go against them. And then Darby Allin's on the mic and he said it. He's going to be the next champ next week. I mean, they should be of Darby Allin because I will say, I have nothing against Marina Shafir, but Darby Allin doesn't give a crap if you are a man or a woman. He will go. He does not care. And I think it would be nice for the new BC Blackpool Combat Club to take on House of Black because we have not seen Julia Hart in a while. So that would be really good because one, that'll even up the odds. And who better to know mind games than Miss Julia Hart? So we haven't seen her, but I do give kudos to Private Party and Commander for stepping up to the plate because they're no slouches. They've been at AEW from the beginning. So yeah, that would be see, yeah, because Julia Hart. So, and where's a promo by Mr. Jack Perry? It's interesting. Like it's interesting that Jack Perry is a heel, but if you saw his match last week, they were fans that were cheering for him. Like he has a scapegoat section, which is so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Like he has a fan base. And also, I want to say also two things about Marina Shafir. A little fact: I did not know that she was married to Roderick Strong, but there you go. Marina Shafir is married to Roderick Strong, and they have a beautiful child together. And also, this is gonna sound crazy. I did not know that was Luke Perry's son, Jack Perry. Even though I do watch 90210, I was blindsided. I had no idea Luke Perry was his dad. I knew he was a fan of wrestling, but I did not know that was his son. So I will say Jack Perry is really embracing the scapegoat and running on well. And we're shifting over from Jack Perry to Ricochet, where Ricochet is coming out, and it's going to be him versus the Beast Mortos. So this is going to be a good match, and I'm very excited to see some of the elements, physical elements, because the Beast Mortos can go. He's no slouch. Yeah, so number 3. Yep, it is. It is. And thank you for joining me here on AEW Dynamite. This is All Elite Wednesday with me, Courtney Rice, WWT's PR and Media Princess. I am super excited to be here and also being here with you guys on every Wednesday night. This is the final Dynamite before we go into Grand Slam next week. And this has been a solid show so far. So we're getting ready to kick off our next match between Ricochet and now we see the Beast Mortos. So if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us again. Make sure to follow WWT on social. So that was going to be really fun. And also, if you're just tuning in now, we've had a few things happen throughout this event. We kicked off with Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy, where Orange Cassidy picked up the victory. Then, of course, we got to see Hook in action with Roderick Strong on commentary. Of course, a few minutes ago, we saw Jon Moxley and Darby Allin having their final face-off before next week. Also, we did, of course, we can't forget the ladies because this is women's wrestling talk. We advocate for all the ladies of professional wrestling. So we saw some tag team action with Mariah May and Serena Deeb taking on Yuka Shika Shaka Shikakana. I knew I had it, but Yuka and Queen Amanada, and unfortunately that match ended in disqualification, which was hard to see. So now we're in our next match, and also still to come tonight, we're going to hear from Hangman Adam Page after his brutal match with George Strickland, and also the main event, which is a trios match. It'll be the Elite, consisting of the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, and the Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada, taking on members of the Don Callis family, AEW's International Champion Will Ospreay, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. Hello, thank you for submitting the channel. I'm actually doing good. It's Wednesday. Of course, it's All Elite Wednesday, and I'm excited to be with all of you. And this is going to be a fun one. Right now, we're kicking off with Ricochet and the Beast Mortals. Ooh, Ricochet did an amazing move. Woo. 1, 2, kick off by the Beast Mortos. I'm going to tell you something. That trios match is going to be amazing. I'm excited for that match. And also, if you heard me, I didn't mention this on the show today, but I actually did mention this a few times off camera, where I have a feeling Will Ospreay is gonna be betrayed by the Don Callis family next week during the tag team title match against the Young Bucks, which, of course, that is something that I just have a feeling. And plus, Don Callis is the least person that you should trust, so we'll see what happens next week. Who would you like to see Mina Shirokana have a match against on AEW and Ring of Honor? Ooh, that is a good one because I'm trying to think who she faced already. And there are so many different challenges. There are so many women between Ring of Honor and AEW she could face. I mean, she could face the AEW, the reigning superior Ring of Honor Women's Champion, Athena. On the AEW side, you have Nyla Rose, Queen Amanada. I'm trying to think. There's so many ladies. That there's a lot of them. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander. There's so many women that she could choose from, and this match is going in picture, but it's going to be a solid match. But going back to my point, I do believe Will Ospreay is going to get betrayed by the Don Callis family ahead of their match next week during the tag team title. So only time will tell. And I mentioned this last week. I'm actually a huge advocate when it comes to tag team wrestling. One of the strongest pillars in AEW is their tag team division. And I always like to be supportive of all tag teams. However, the promo that the Young Bucks did last week saying that we beat every team in the division. No, you didn't, sirs. You didn't beat up on every tag team. Of course, you pinned FTR at All In, but technically you didn't beat all the tag teams because there's one tag team in particular that you didn't beat clean. They weren't even pinned at All In. And also, they've had your number. It's just you won't put up a fight. And yes, I am putting out the Acclaimed because here's why. 4 years ago, when they first came on the scene in 2020, they were the new tag team on the block. The Young Bucks were the tag team champions at that time. And you could see there was a little bit of promos between the two. They did a diss video about them. They dissed the book that they released in 2020. And also, if you saw their match between the Acclaimed and the Young Bucks in 2020, I think it was 2020. It was 2020. 2020, where they faced them off against the tag team titles. Even though the Acclaimed lost, they put up a good match. Circle back 4 years later. Guess who's the tag team champions? The Young Bucks. And also the thing that is kind of making me a little bit upset about this is because FTR and the Acclaimed are doing something the Young Bucks should be doing. Is that you're giving other tag teams an opportunity to shine in the spotlight. For example, FTR is in a feud with Grizzled Young Vets. And they put on a banger of a match. And also, they gave a moment to the Outrunners, which I thought was great. The Acclaimed is feuding with MXM Collection, which I think that would be a really good rivalry to watch. And it's like, they're giving other tag teams a shine. No disrespect against the Young Bucks, but you should be wiping the floor off of every tag team. Yeah, you have EVPs, but you should at least be wiping the floor off of them. It doesn't matter if it's on Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, or whatever. You should be wiping the floor off. But if I were the Young Bucks, I would be thinking very, very carefully, especially with the Acclaim. Nothing against FTR. They had nothing against FTR, but I think it would be great because if there's a tag team rivalry that can really catapult us to the next level, it's the Acclaimed versus the Young Bucks, especially with ducks in a row. And also considering the Acclaimed are AEW homegrown, which is very super to have. They have the most overall wins over any tag team in the division of AEW. And they haven't had a tag title shot in 2 years. They haven't held the tag title. So I'm not losing hope they are going to get a shot because I would not be surprised if the Acclaim started playing mind games with the Young Bucks because that would be really interesting to watch them play mind games with them because of course they are doing the work, they are wrestling, but it would be nice to see them play mind games. And my prediction stands. Young Bucks are going to drop the tag team titles at Full Gear. That is my bold prediction. And if anybody can catapult this tag team rivalry to the next level, it's between the Young Bucks and the Acclaim. So that is something I'm looking forward to see. But going back to the match with the Beast Mortos and Ricochet, and it looks like the Beast Mortos is taking charge. Ricochet countered. Ooh, then on his feet. Ricochet is just so exciting to watch. It is so exciting to watch. All right, I'll be putting in Ring of Honor. I like to see a match between Mina Shirokana and Red Velvet and Billy Starks. In AEW, I like to see Mina Shirokana versus Hikaru Shida. And ooh, that would be a really good match if she had with either Hikaru Shida or Deonna Purrazzo or Red Velvet. That would be really, really good. That would be epic. And this is Women's Wrestling Talk, so we advocate for all the ladies in all wrestling promotions. And it looks like both men are laid outside the floor. Referee is starting to go in for a 10 count. That is true. Young Bucks should do. Yeah, I do think they should do with the Grizzled Young Vets. I know that's the one thing. For me, I just really want the storyline to be longevity. That's all I want in the tag team division. It's just to have a rivalry that's longevity, and it's not like one and done or anything else. But that's the thing that kind of irks me a bit. It's like the Young Bucks, they're doing something. That's one thing that irks me with the Young Bucks. The Acclaimed and FTR are doing something that they should be doing. You need to give other tag teams an opportunity to shine. The same way FTR is doing it with the Grizzled Young Vets and the Outrunners. The Acclaimed are doing it with MXM. So I know a lot of times people want to go with the shiny new toy when it comes to tag teams, but I always have to think longevity wise. If there is a tag team, especially homegrown AEW tag team that can actually be on the same level as the Young Bucks and go toe to toe, like it or not, I'm sticking with the Acclaimed. I'm sticking with them. I do think they are going to get tag team gold. I don't know when, I don't know how, but they're going to get gold because they did get screwed out of their tag team title shot. And at my bold prediction stands, Young Bucks are going to drop it at Full Gear. And going back to the match, Mortos 2. Ooh, Ricochet kicked out, and the Beast Mortos looks angry. Well, he always looks angry. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, I just have to think longevity-wise with tag teams because everybody goes with this shiny new tag team toy. It's like you tend to forget about the Acclaim. I know I keep saying it over and over and over, but it's true. They are AEW homegrown, and you kind of need to show opportunity to the tag teams that been with AEW from the beginning. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm all in to see what happens on the road to the tag team titles because it's going to be a fun one. And Ricochet, he looks fired up. Ooh, kicked him to the head. That Ricochet. Ooh. 1, 2. Ricochet got the win. He's still undefeated in AEW. Ricochet has been on a roll for quite some time. Actually, this is going to be far left field because this is really is going to boggle my mind because if Don Callis betrays Will Ospreay, I feel like Ricochet is going to come out and even the odds, even though Ricochet and Will Ospreay kind of have a disagreement with each other. I would not be surprised if Ricochet did come out to help out Will Ospreay because they've known each other for a while. So that's just something I thought about. But good to see Ricochet stay undefeated in AEW and he's on a roll. But only time will tell, and we'll see what happens in his soon-to-be rivalry with Will Ospreay. see what Hangman. Okay, so they're showing the promo last week with Hangman Adam Page saying he beat Swerve and he destroyed his house, which I'm like, you destroyed a man's childhood home. Let's see. I like to see a match between Ricochet and Kinoshige Takeshita one day. Oh my god, that would be a banger of a match. That would be a match. I would not know who would win. I would probably like go surpass 30 minutes. So up next, we're gonna hear from Mr. Hangman Adam Page after his win against Swerve Strickland at All Out, and I can tell his feud with Jeff Jarrett is way far from over. Way far from over. So I would not be shocked if Jeff Jarrett tried to get some retribution after last week's assault. But we're inching closer and closer to our main event. Thank you guys for joining All Elite Wednesday with me, your WWT's PR and media princess. I'm super excited to be here, and I definitely want to thank everyone again for joining the chat, from Boza to Bobby, Brandon, Hassan. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. Football scouting report, Mr. Opinionated, Freebird, and Swag Kid. I just want to thank you all for being in the chat and staying inside with me on this wonderful Wednesday night, the final Dynamite before Grand Slam in New York. And it has been a very solid Dynamite so far, and I'm super excited. And there's still more to come. We're gonna hear from Mr. Hangman Adam Page, and then we're gonna get into our main event. I've been saying this all night. It's gonna be trios action. It'll be Young Bucks, your AEW Tag Team Champions, and also Kazuchika Okada, who's the Continental Champion. They will be taking on members of the Don Callis family. AEW International Champion Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita. So that is going to be a banger of a main event, and I'm excited for that. And of course, we'll probably hear from everyone's favorite person, Don Callis, on commentary, because that's what he does best. But thank you again for everybody joining. This has been a fun Dynamite so far, especially right before Grand Slam in New York. And also, in honor of Grand Slam, feel free to type in your comments on what was your favorite moment from past Grand Slams. Like, feel free to type in, like, what was your favorite past moment, because there was plenty. There was plenty from Grand Slam in New York. So feel free to put in the chat on what was your favorite past moment from previous Grand Slams. Of course, I see my WWT sister, Honey, joining in the comment. Always love to have you join in. Hope you guys are loving All Elite Wednesday. It's been a solid episode because we're getting ready. It's the final Wednesday before Grand Slam. And this is highlights. Okay, so they're showing highlights from Collision last weekend against FTR and the Grizzled Young Vets. And that was a really good match. That was a really good match, I would say. And FTR scored the victory over the Grizzled Young Vets. Grizzled Young Vets attacked them, and here comes the Outrunners. I will say at first I didn't get it, but they're starting to grow on me. And it's nice to see some tag teams. Oh, here we go. So we have an all-star 10-man tag team match. It'll be Hook, FTR, and the Outrunners taking on the Beast Mortos, Grizzled Young Veterans, Roosh, and Roderick Strong on Collision. I'm excited for that. That is going to be an epic match, and I am in for it. And Tony Schiavone's in the ring, and we're going to hear from Mr. Hangman Adam Page, and I'm curious on what he has to say, especially after his victory against Swerve Strickland. We'll see what he has to say. If you saw his entrance video, if you saw his entrance when he was coming to the ring, they actually showed footage of him burning Swerve's childhood house on fire on the Titantron. If you look at it, I just still can't believe that he burned that man's childhood home. So Tony is trying to refresh everybody from what happened All Out and saying this is far from over, and Hangman getting what he exactly wants. Let's see what Mr. Hangman has to say. I guess he wants Swerve Strickland to be gone. They did. So he's not going after Swerve. He's pretty much going after everybody who protected and supported Swerve Strickland. Uh-oh. He's really going against Tony. Why is everybody going after why is everybody going after Tony Schiavone? Well, there's Jeff Jarrett. There's Jeff Jarrett. You would think between these two it would be far from over, but it's really not. And he's paranoid as ever. I feel like not paranoid is a word. I feel like he's just dark and downright psychotic. That hit between him and Jeff Jarrett's far from over. So, I mean, I would not be shocked if I'm not going to say next week at Grand Slam, but I would not be shocked if Jeff Jarrett and Hangman had a match ahead of Wrestle Dream. Oof, security trying to pull back Hangman, but it looks like he's these two really want to go at it. Oh, the rest of his backup crew is out here. Oof. Yeah, between these two, this is far from over. And let's see what Jeff Jarrett has to say. He's demanding a microphone. Looks like he's calling on Hangman because this is far from over, and Jeff Jarrett wants a piece of Hangman and a Page. I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, it's done." They're sick and tired of it because Jeff Jarrett, he's been around the business from the beginning, from his days in WWE to TNA and now AEW. Ooh, and let's see Ricochet, and let's see him and Will Ospreay have a moment. How about after Hangman's done with Hubba? Ooh, that would be really good, but Malachi Black would be interested. But I know, Bobby, if you saw last week, I feel like almost everybody is calling out the House of Black, which is insane. So, folks, a little bit of breaking news because October 2nd, which is the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it will be Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for the AEW International Championship. God, I wish I saved that match for Wrestle Dream. But that is going to be an incredible match. And I'm excited to see it. And I know Ricochet had a few words to say with Will Ospreay before he faces off in his main event tonight, but it's Wow. So far, this has been a very solid episode of AEW Dynamite, I have to say. This has been really fun. Thank you for everybody that's been joining tonight. And right now, we're getting ready for our main event. I've been talking about this all night, and also, we've been talking about this all throughout the night. It'll be the Elite Young Bucks, who are the AEW Tag Team Champions, teaming up with the Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada, and they'll be going up against members from the Don Callis family, Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and the AEW International Champion, Will Ospreay. So we are moments away from our main event, and that's going to be exciting. Awesome that we're getting Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, but I don't want to say it's too soon, considering like Ricochet just came on, and I know he wants to rack up a few more wins, but I just feel like it's a little bit too soon, considering he's 3-0, and also I don't know. I can't imagine him losing this early because he just started AEW. But I don't know. That's just me, and I think it would have been great, not just on the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite, but it would be great for Wrestle Dream. But I can understand why they did it on October 2nd because, as I mentioned earlier, AEW is celebrating their 5-year anniversary. So, of course, they want to have high caliber matches. But only time will tell. And I'm very curious on what matches are going to be added on the 5-year anniversary. So, there will be more to come with that. But as I mentioned, you're hanging out with me, Courtney Rice, WWT's PR and Media Princess. It is All Elite Wednesday as we are getting ready. This is as we are getting ready for tonight's main event. It is also the final Dynamite for Grand Slam next week in New York. So there has been a lot of action, and I'm very excited to see. And we're just moments away from our main event. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for this main event. I saw it last week. Yeah, going back to my point with that, I feel like everybody is calling out the House of Black. It's like I don't want to say it's a devilish, but it's like why out of all people would you call out the House of Black? Why? It's just I don't know, but they are still at the top of their game. And we are now in our main event, and we get to see the one, the only, the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. I feel like anytime Will Ospreay's theme song hits, it's like everybody gets on their feet. It's crazy. I actually do like his gear, his ring attire that he debuted, especially since he debuted that at All In. It's just it's just so weird. All the fans seem to love Will Ospreay. But I will say, Will Ospreay is a treat. And also, a little known fact: if you ever seen his wife Alex Windsor in action, because I've seen her a few times on Rampage and Collision, and she's a really good wrestler herself. So I would definitely recommend seeing some of her matches that she was in. But wow, people really get on their feet for Will Ospreay. They really do. Whenever his theme song hits, they just and excuse me, here comes Kyle Fletcher. Okay, I knew Don Callis was coming out. It had to be somebody. And of course, we're going to hear from Don Callis in commentary because that's what he does best. Alex Mister would be great. Oh yeah, she would be. I've seen some, like I said, I've seen some of her matches on Rampage and Collision, and she's really good. And yep, I was right. Don Callis is joining the commentary table. Oh, of course he's joining commentary. I would actually not be shocked if he was joining commentary next week during the tag team titles. Well, we brought out members of the Don Callis family. Now it's bringing out the EVPs and the reigning AEW Tag Team Champion. I was being a little bit sarcastic, but I was trying to be sarcastic with this because I have nothing but respect for the Young Bucks, but it's starting to get a little stale with their character because it would be nice to see them like not get a little bit aggressive, but pretty much wipe off the floor of all tag teams, as I mentioned earlier. It just would be nice to see them wipe off the floor, even if it's like a Rampage or Collision. I mean, because the promo said, "Oh, we beat all the tag teams in the division." No, you didn't. So we'll see what these guys. I mean, I can't take nothing away from their athleticism. That's where they're tag team champions, but they're a little bit of a puppet. And here comes their tag team partner, the reigning Continental Champion, and that's the title Takeshita won, which I have a good feeling they're going to probably have a match at Wrestle Dream, and I am in on it. I don't know why, but his blonde hair kind of makes me think he's a ripoff of Ken, and it might be just me. But you can see Takeshita wants Okada. If you saw his promo from last week, he wants him. So we are getting ready for our main event. I hope. Well, a little update with Eddie Kingston. He did get hurt, but he won't be back till early 2025 since the injury was really that serious. But he will be back in 2025. So we send our best wishes to Eddie Kingston on a speedy recovery. And now we're turning our attention to our main event trios action. And if you heard Doc Townsend commentary, he mentioned about the Young Bucks' time in New Japan wrestling, which that's also a full circle moment right here because it's true they were both in New Japan along with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, many others. Is there any updates on Kenny Omega? I've not heard any updates regarding Kenny because I think right now it's just kind of he's pretty much laying low and not giving much details. I know there is a lot of dirt sheets and rumors and tabloids and everything else, but only time will tell. But I'm hoping he is having a speedy recovery and he gets to be 100%. But let's see. Okada trying to get in the ring with Will Ospreay. And they know each other way, way too well. He really, I think Okada's trying to play mind games with Will Ospreay, but that's not going to work considering the history they have with each other. Ooh, see, Will Ospreay, it looked like he had to break a sweat. He ain't hug. Will Ospreay ain't that stupid. Kinda Will Ospreay. Ooh, Hurricanrana by Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay makes this way too easy. Ooh, unexpected tag from Takeshka. Oh, a little bit of confrontation. Come on. Ooh, see, this is where it makes the Elite so dangerous, is because they have that synergy. They have that synergy, they have that connection, and that's what makes them good. We'll keep guessing if that. Well, only time will tell with Bryan Danielson, but I would not be shocked if Bryan was playing some mind games a bit, because I know everybody thinks like, oh, he can't do it, all that stuff, but I would not be surprised if Bryan Danielson played some mind games. But going back to my point, this is what makes the Elite so dangerous, because of the synergy they have, and they are all on the same page. But Fletcher, Takeshka, and Ospreay are trying to get on the same page, because I know there was a little bit of conflict there, but they just need to make sure they work together. Both that could be. I mean, I don't see why not, because I just think it's too soon to let Bryan Danielson retire yet. Too soon. Too soon. But so far, because right now the match is in picture. Well, Ospreay trying to show some offense to Okada. Tag made. I forget which brother. I know they're twins, but I always get confused on which brother it is. Let's see. Well, Ospreay showing offense. Because I always get confused on which brother when it comes to the Young Bucks, because I know they are twins, so it always gets confusing. I'm gonna say in the ring is Nicholas. Starting to show some offense. Starting Will Ospreay outside of the ring. Double team him. Oof. Let's see. Oof. They're, the Elite's just been doing work. They're really putting a damage on Ospreay. Okay, so Will Ospreay, I know the tag is made to Okada. Okada's just playing mind games with Will Ospreay. Okay. Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher. Ooh, took out both members of the Young Bucks. Kyle Fletcher. Okay, so just to be clear, in the blue, because I'm trying to listen to commentary on which one. The blue is Matthew, and in the red, oh wait, I lied. Yeah, I kind of do agree. Kyle Fletcher has been amazing to watch, especially after his match that he had with MJF. I mean, okay, so in the blue, because I'm trying the different Bucks. So in the blue vest, it's Nicholas, and in the red vest is Matthew. Just a quick FYI, because I always get confused on which one is which, because I know they're twins, but I just have to make sure I don't get the wrong brother. So Okada's in the ring with Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's showing some offense. Woo. Okada looks like he doesn't know where the hell he is. He has no idea where he is. Well, Ospreay and I'm not sure if you saw that, but it looks like he nudged Will Ospreay a bit, and he ended up getting the tag. So I don't know if that's going to tell you next week if they're going to turn on him, but it's starting to slowly shift gears. Woo! Takeshita showing some great offense. They need to have a match at Wrestle Dream. Like, Okada needs to put his Continental title on the line. And after Claudio's match, we didn't even see what was going to happen next, because after the time limit happened, it was just like, oh, next person. Okay. Look at that. Okada blocking. Ooh. Okada let on his feet. Ooh. DDT. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. And as I mentioned earlier, this is where the synergy of the Young Bucks can get a little bit dangerous, and that is why they are the tag team champions of the world. But can't deny facts. Hal Fletcher, Takeshita. Ooh. Ooh. Triple kick. 1, 2, and the Young Bucks break that up. Ooh. Yeah, this is what makes them really good together. And you know what's funny? I noticed the last couple of weeks. I know the Young Bucks are supposed to be healed because they're elite. I need a lot of people cheer for them, which is, I'm not surprised, but it's always interesting to see. And, ooh, drop kick by Okada. This is a really good match. This is a really good main event, especially leading into Grand Slam next week. And of course, the fans are chanting AEW. Ooh, hold on. Oof, neckbreaker on Takeshita. That has hurt. 1, 2. All right, this is gonna be the last time they go into picture in picture. So, but I am looking to see what happens next. Okada. Oof, Okada showing some offense. All right, I just want to thank everybody for joining on tonight's All Elite Wrestling Watch Along with me, Courtney, WWT's PR and Media Princess. I'm excited to have each and every one of you here on this watch along with me. This has been super fun, and we have a really solid main event happening right now. And it's a good way to close out before next week's Grand Slam, but you have to make sure to watch Rampage and Collision because there was a few matches that were announced at Collision. Rampage, one of the matches is going to be a fatal four-way match. It'll be Nick Wayne versus Kip Saban versus Rocky Romero versus Leo Rush. And on Saturday, we're going to have ourselves an all-star tag team match. It's going to be Hulk teaming up with FTR and the Outrunners, taking on the Beast Mortos, Grizzled Young Veterans, and Roderick Strong. So that is going to be a banger for both Friday and Saturday night. So make sure to watch Collision and Rampage, everything leading up to next week's Grand Slam in New York. So going back to the match, because right now it's in picture-in-picture. Young Bucks are now showing to show off, and they're showing people why they are the tag team champions at the top of this division. And I'm shocked during their reign they only had a few title defenses, which is really odd. It's really bizarre, but it is. When is Adam Cole? I don't know when Adam Cole's coming back because it's like one dirt sheet will say something and the other one will say something different. So only time will tell when Adam Cole's coming back, but hopefully we wish him hopefully hopefully we wish him nothing but the best in his speedy recovery. And hopefully we'll see him back in the ring soon, reuniting with the Undisputed Kingdom. I'm surprised they didn't put. Yeah, I know, but of course, networks they kind of want to restrict that. I think that's what WWE. It's like there's a cutoff. Like if you ever seen a WWE, especially with Raw and SmackDown, it's like they cut it. And actually, Raw used to go at Actually, Raw used to go like at 11:05 when it was on the new TNN and Spike TV. They used to cut off at 11:05, but now it's like 11 o'clock. So I think probably that's a network thing, which I'm very shocked. Like they could have gone at least ending at like 10:05 or 10:10, but who am I to say? This is what they do. Yeah, time management has always been an issue with them, but it's always been an issue. But hopefully, going back 5 years with Dynamite, hopefully they get their kinks working out and use a hard stop saying like, we have to stop here. So, growing pains, live and learn. Okay, EVP trigger. Ooh, both of their knees hit. Takeshita. Takeshita. Yeah, so just to let you know, the blue vest, it's Nicholas. Red vest is Matthew. Into catch gets him with great power. Is he gonna tag Will Ospreay? No. He got that fake Ken doll. Then he's tagging Will Ospreay. Woo! That's why Don Callis, you heard Don Callis on commentary, he calls Will Ospreay the golden goose. I feel like Will Ospreay makes it look too easy. Ooh, got caught by Okada. Rainmaker. Oh, triple kick. Oh, not look good. This is where they become dangerous with that synergy. 1, 2, and here goes Kyle Fletcher and Takeshka. Kyle Fletcher. Ooh, throwing Kyle Fletcher out the ring. The fans are chanting, "This is awesome." It has been a good, solid main event. I am in on it. Oh, look the. And I'm being sarcastic, by the way. These so-called beloved EVPs trying to shine up their sneakers. Oh no! He landed on his feet. Ooh, jeez, gave those kicks to Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay kicked out. And you know, I noticed because people were chanting Osprey. You normally would have fans that be chanting EVP Trigger, but not tonight. Ooh, teamwork by Osprey and Kyle Fletcher. 1, 2. Okada kicked out. Kyle Fletcher threw him out the ring. Okada. He threw Okada out the ring. Tag made to Kyle Fletcher. I think their match next week is really going to be really, really good. I mean, I know for next week I do have the Bucks retaining their titles because there's no way. As much as I love Will Ospreay, I just can't see them like dropping the titles right away. And I stand by my prediction that the Young Bucks are going to drop the tag team titles at Full Gear. That's my prediction, and I'm standing by it. And I just had this feeling that they're going to drop it. Ooh, Okada. Ooh, ooh, Takeshka. He's fired up. The fans are going nuts for him. Look, Will Ospreay outside the ring. He's telling him to go, go, go. Ooh, took out Okada. Fletcher. Let's see. This is where the synergy comes in. Is it time? Ooh, Kyle Fletcher. Is this it? 1, 2. Oh no, kicked out. Nicholas. Ooh, hit him in the head. Ah, maybe a little fight. They used to get tag team back in the day. Is this it? 2, 3. You know what? I'm happy the Don Callis family got a win. It's nice to see them win. That's really impressive. And here comes Don Callis. Here he comes. I know he's proud of his team winning. Big victory. Big, 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 big victory. Well, like him or hate him, he's cooking up something. Ah, the United Empire, the tag. Because fact, Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher used to tag team together. Yay! I think they're going to turn on each other next week. Not tonight. Next week. Oh, if you saw that Takeshita had not a polite thing to say to Will Ospreay, but like I said, I have a feeling next week there's gonna be they're gonna be turning against Will Ospreay next week because next week Grand Slam and there's gonna be a lot happening. But congratulations to the Don Callis family on getting that impressive win. And I know what Takeshita wants. He wants Okada for that Continental Classic. And it's actually shaping up to be a really good card on Dynamite. Huge victory by the Don Callis family. Gotta give kudos to them. They did an amazing job. And this has been a wonderful Dynamite tonight. I have to say, this has been really fun. I'm pretty much excited to get to witness it, especially with all of you wrapping it up. It has been super, 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 so super fun. I will say it's been very fun. I am very happy to do with all of you. Don Callis family has momentum. Oh, thank you. And thank you to everyone for joining on tonight's AEW All Elite Wednesday Watch Along. It has been a fun episode with all of you as we kick off the road to Grand Slam. Don't forget to watch Rampage and Collision because there are a few matches in there. If you would like to follow me, please make sure to follow me on @CourtneyNJ11 on Twitter and Instagram, where you can see all my adventures, not just on wrestling, but also on pageant related stuff and anything in between. Also, you can catch me here on WWT Live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m., along with here every Wednesday night on All Elite Wednesday. So I'm very excited. We get to wrap up here, and you guys have a great evening, and I will see you guys next week.